Well, hello, YouTubians. Hope y'all are having a wonderful Monday. Oh, hang on a second. There we go. A little bit better. Got to be straight. Let me take these off so there's no glare. This video is going to be kind of in general about some of the decisions I've made. I'm also going to go through a little bit of my history in trucking and history in barbecue. I've had a lot of questions about barbecue. I will cover some of those in this next video. So sit back and I hope you enjoy the next episode of the Barbecue Trucker. Well, once again, YouTubians, I am back, and I have made a decision. Don't know if I really remember if I put it in this last episode. I probably did, but I have submitted an application with Maverick Transport LLC. Didn't think I would ever go back to flatbedding after doing it for like 3 years. But you know something? The only thing about flatbedding is, tarping and securing and all that, which that's exercise your body needs anyway. So I put in with Maverick. I don't know why, but I keep trying to convince myself that they're not going to hire me. I guess because I've heard that only 3 to 5% of the applicants that apply get hired there. I don't know what would stop me. I don't have any kind of criminal history, DWIs, drug use, none of that. No accidents, no tickets. And they said in the last 3 years, but that's been longer than 20 years. So maybe I'm just trying to prepare myself because I've really kind of got myself looking forward to going to work for them because of their pay. And from a lot of the drivers' videos that I've watched, they seem to be very, very happy there. No lying and all that. And trust me, some companies and recruiters will lie to you, believe that or not. If you don't believe it, well, you're going to have a rude awakening when it happens. But Maverick seems to be the best. I was originally going to go ahead and let me give a brief history of my driving career. I started driving trucks in 1980 for Halliburton, driving out in the oil field. Started out driving a 1962 International D, pulling about 130,000 pounds of cement. They didn't care about weight back then. And, it was really interesting, but good learning experience. And then in 1990, I did other adventures. I stayed there till the late 82 when the first big, at least of my career, oil field layoff was. That's one thing about the oil field. It's feast or famine. It was good while it was going, but when the bottom dropped out of it, it was like no warning, whammo, you're without a job. Had that happen several times, but so I went into other work. Like I was a correctional officer for a little over 6 years at the Texas Department of Corrections. Wow, that was a mentally stressful job. Turned me into, pardon my language, an asshole, to be honest with you. Took me a long time to get out of that too, but I'm glad that's over with. And the pay, barely better than minimum wage. I mean, it's horrible for what those people got to do. I got to give them credit. The ones that are doing it, I've got to give them credit. That is a mentally tough job, sometimes physically tough. If you're a rock and roll unit, I called it like Cofield unit, where I was working at. I used to say I'm sentenced to 8 hours a day with a few days off. But anyway, so I went back to trucking in 1990. We were working for a company in Hamilton, Texas called Alexander Molding Mill, where we were hauling wood molding, yes, on flatbeds. And I'll tell you what, if you can haul wood molding on a flatbed, you can haul anything. I am telling you. And so anyway, did that for 3 years. And then I decided I wanted to see the country and get paid to do so. At that time, I'd never been farther north than Eureka Springs, Arkansas. Never been farther west than Ruidoso, New Mexico, and I had been to Florida, but just straight there back. So I wanted to see it, so I got on with a company called TLC Lines. Just had friends that worked there, and they got me hired on. Didn't agree with a lot of their policies. I actually ended up training a couple of students there, and they do team dispatch. Now, the good thing about it was we were on a dedicated account. At the time, it was Mobile Chemical that did the hefty trash bags and styrofoam trays, and all since then it's been bought out by several different. But we were their rolling warehouse. We were guaranteed home every other weekend and guaranteed 4,000 miles a week, which we got more than that. It was just a rolling warehouse. But anyway, they did all team dispatching, even their trainers. You get a student right out of truck driving school and immediately go team status, which is downright stupid. That's one thing I like about Maverick. I didn't think I'd ever be a trainer because I really don't like sleeping in a moving truck. It's not that I don't trust the person driving. It's just that you've been out there on some of those roads, and then you hit a uneven bridge, or going, not hit the bridge, but going over a bridge, and I've actually left the bunk 2 or 3 foot. It seemed like, and just can't get good sleep. So, and also, how can you train anybody if you're asleep in the bunk? How's that student getting training if their trainer's asleep in the bunk? That's just stupid. So all you companies that are out there doing it, yes, the barbecue trucker says that is stupid. That's another thing that I really was turned on about Maverick. They do no team dispatching of any kind, even with their trainers. And like I say, I got to start back over because, well, anyway, let me go back to that. I worked for them for a little while. Then I went to work for CFI. That was a pretty good company. I really liked CFI. A lot of miles, but gone. You're home. You're out 3 weeks and home 3 days, and out 3 weeks and home 3 days. And at the time, my kids were young. I missed a lot of soccer and t-ball game stuff. I'll never get back. Just trying to make a living. That got old. That's another reason why I decided to go back into trucking now. My kids are grown, wife's gone, so I can get out there like Brian Hall. Check out some of his videos. Just type in a search for Brian Hall. One of the most upbeat people I've ever seen in my life. If everybody had his personality, there would be no mass shootings. There would be really no reason for the news, hardly. But anyway, like I say, go check out Brian Hall's videos. I'm going to give you a couple of other names of some people that have really good videos, and I'm written down there. But anyway, I'm trying to make this kind of quick because I did record this video once before, and once again, my microphone volume was turned down. I guess every time I want to do a video, I got to go to the sound settings and adjust the microphone where y'all can hear me. But anyway, CFI, I did become a trainer there. I actually trained my wife at the time. I had to wait a little while because they had a policy of no training family members, and I was actually the very first person to train their wife at CFI. I trained her. I was rough on her. I will admit that. I was embarrassingly rough on her, but we got into Joplin for her to test out after she was on there. Now, they did do team, but they had you go 12,500 miles solo until the training got that, and then you went 20,000 more miles as a team, which went real quick. And so anyway, I brought her back in. We got in on a Saturday afternoon. I thought we're going to have to wait till Monday for an instructor to test her out. And we were sitting there talking. Luckily, there was one sitting there overheard us and said, "Hey, I'm an instructor. I can do it right now." So they left. They were gone an hour and a half. It's a very intensive test you had to take. I didn't really actually was glad I didn't have to take it myself. Anyway, and I guess they set this up. I'm sitting there in the day room, and here comes that instructor walking in. My wife was still out in the parking lot, and he had this serious look on his face. He came up to me and very harshly said, "Do you want to continue training people here at CFI?" And I said, "Well, maybe, maybe not. I'm going to team with my wife, and if she doesn't like it, then I'll probably go back to it." And he goes, "Well, that's a shame because she did better than any student I've ever tested, like a 96 or a 98. So that by far the best student he ever tested out." So that made me feel good, except for I felt bad that I was so rough on her. I was hard on her, and I learned a lesson about that because I did train a few others, and it went really good. And like I say, I trained at TLC lines a little bit. And I may go into that, with the company I get if it's Maverick, only because they don't do any team dispatch. That'll be something I may explore later on. But so anyway, got out of it for a little while, working building cabinets for a good friend of mine and all that. And then I got back in it and doing mainly local driving back in the oil field. And guess what? The big layoff of, what was it, 2009 wiped us out, man. I'm telling you, it went from, I was working for Stallion Production Services, making $18.50 an hour, getting 65 to 70 hours a week. It was 12 on, 12 off, 12-hour shift, but that 12-hour shift was probably 14 hours, and making good money. got paid 2.5 times for working on Christmas and Thanksgiving. Do 1850 times 2.5, and you'll see what I was making per hour. So my Christmases and Thanksgiving were celebrated on a different day because I was working. But anyway, oil field, bottom fell out of it. The economy in the nation tanked. I was on unemployment for nearly 3 years. Any jobs that were hiring had probably 50 applicants for every position that was open, and they were going for younger people. And if you sit down and filled out an application to go to work for a trucking company, you know how long it takes. You got to go back 10-year history on your work history and all that. So it just got to where it was sickening to sit there for an hour and a half, 2 hours filling out an application, knowing that you're not going to get hired. But anyway, so after that, I went through that period of unemployment and all. Then all of a sudden, I got sick. I had cancer. I beat cancer 3 times, by the way. If it ever comes back on me again, I fully plan on beating it again. Now that first time was kidney. I had left kidney but it was contained in the kidney. They took the kidney out. Cancer's gone, but I had major infections. Was in the hospital for 43 days. Filed for SSI, which that's what I thought that was for. I actually had the interview on the phone interview when I was in a hospital bed on a morphine pump and getting Dilaudid every 3 hours, which that was sweet. But I was still in so much pain it was unreal. And believe it or not, they're infinite in their infinite wisdom, they turned me down for SSI. So my lawyer said the best way to go would be regular Social Security disability. So I went through that process, got put on disability. My recovery time was expected to be at least a year and a half before any doctor would release me to go to work. Well, you know, when you have that happen to you, your bills don't stop. And I was on unemployment, so I didn't have any kind of long-term or short-term disability with my insurance. And I had no choice but to go on disability. And anyway, been on disability for a while, then went to work for part-time, stayed on disability, went to work part-time for Six Flags Over Texas, by far, best job I've ever had in my life. I was operating fully authentic steam locomotives. We had two, one born. They weren't built, they were born in 1897. One was born in 1901. One of the most coolest things I've ever done in my life. And you think about it when you're working at Six Flags. The majority of the people that are around you are in such a good mood. I mean, if you're at Six Flags Over Texas and you're in a bad mood, then you might need to go see a therapist or something wrong. But anyway, did that for 3 years, and now I've just been sitting around. Moved over to a little town called Holland, Texas, not the country. Helping out my nephew with my great nephews because he got a killer job, and he's a single dad. And at this time, I've got the time. He knows that I'm only going to be 4 or 5 months, and I'm going to go back to trucking, but they'll give him time to get something else set up. And by the way, he's general manager for Freebird's Burritos over in Killeen. But they have locations all over the place. If you've never been to Freebird's Burritos, which I had actually never heard of them, but I've been there now, and I'm going back. Best burrito by far I've ever had, bar none. Anyway, so that's kind of where I'm at right now, and I'm waiting on the process for Maverick. I know from what I've understood, could be a 2 to 3 month process to get hired with them, which that's okay. I've got time to do it. I'm going to have to go back through truck driving school. I was going to try to get loans, grants, or whatever, and go through truck driving school here in Texas. I still may, and get that done. But if Maverick's going to put me to work, they've got a truck driving school up there in North Little Rock, and maybe other locations. I'm not sure, but it might be better thinking-wise to just go through their school because I plan on staying with them. If everything that I've heard is true, which I have no reason to believe it's not, I plan on staying with them for a long time. So why not just start out doing it the Maverick way? Yes, I know. I've got well over 1 million, probably over 1.5 million safe driving miles in 18-wheeler. So most likely I will have more miles driving than my instructor. So what? A lot of things have changed since I've driven, like cell phones. Well, we did have cell phones back then, but you already had service anywhere. GPS, which can help you, but I still rely on the old Rand McNally Road Atlas is the best, truest way to do your trip planning and all that. So that's probably what my decision is going to be. And according to them, with their school, it's $6,000, but you sign a promissory note. And if you stay with them for 2 years, which I plan on staying way longer than that, then after 2 years, that promissory note is forgiven. And so actually your truck driver training is free. Plus, they have orientation pay, which most companies don't because they have a long orientation. Your first week is classroom, learning logging and logs and trip planning and safety and watching videos and getting ready for any tests and all that. And then you have like 2 weeks of securement training, which is how to tarp and secure with chains and straps your flatbed load. And then I'm going to be going in the glass division, so I'll have another week of glass training. But they pay like $600 a week for all that orientation and training. To me, that's awesome. Like I say, I hope they hire me. I don't know why they wouldn't. If they don't, I'll make a video, a polite one, letting you know why they didn't, so that anybody that may have the same problem can get it corrected. I just can't foresee what it'd be. Like I say, I think I'm setting my mind up so if they say no, I won't cry so much. I'm gonna cry a little. I can tell you that right now. I'm an old softy. Love animals, but anyway, well, that's where I'm at on that. And like I say, it's $600 a week. So they pay you during that orientation. Now, you're not going to get paid going to school. I mean, there may be some that advertise they do. I think I've heard of one or something like that. But, I mean, think about it. Hardly anywhere you go in this world, you are going to get paid to go to school. It's normally the opposite way around. You got to pay. And like I say, as long as you stay with them for 2 years, you don't have to pay for that. And then after you got graduate orientation, you get a $1,000 bonus. And so it's just awesome. I'll have to go out with a trainer for a minimum of 3 weeks, which is fine because I will learn. That is what I'm looking forward to. I will be able to learn all the new stuff and all the new technologies and all the new ways of doing things. And, maybe my trainer can learn a little bit from me too. Who knows? But anyway, well, that's where we stand on truck driving. I was going to start making videos and calling all these companies, but to be honest with you, there is a guy out there, and y'all need to go check him out if you're interested in companies, because he has some awesome videos. Now, he doesn't even know that, he barely even knows me. I'm a subscriber, and I've liked a few of his videos. I don't think I've ever asked him any questions I may have, but so he doesn't even know I'm going to give him a plug here, but it's called, let me put these on. No, I don't have to. Trucking Answers. Just put up in the search there, Trucking Answers. You'll find him. He's got a nice groomed beard, and sometimes it's not groomed because the wind's blowing it. That's cool too. He does in-depth interviews with all these companies, and he has the crap company of the week, and he has companies that he says are doing it right. And by the way, Maverick is one of the companies that he has down as doing it right. So there's no sense in me making videos on that because he's way better than I am. I'm kind of new at this. But also, if you want to hear some more trucking videos and good information about the trucking industry, do a search for Red Viking Trucker. I like to listen to his videos. There's also a guy named Craig Ryan who, I don't know if he started there, I can't remember, but he worked for Maverick. Then he went to work for a company called Carter Express because it was like local for him, where he could be home more. And the last video I saw, he is now a training instructor for Schneider. So that's cool. Go check out Craig's. He's got some really informative videos about what you'd expect going to orientation if you're going to Maverick. And if you are considering going to Maverick, like I say, check him out. Check out Brian Hall. Most upbeat person, like I said a while ago. Just do a search, Brian Hall. You're going to love his videos. The man smiles more than anybody I've ever seen in my life. He is just totally awesome. And then there's another one. This is the last one. As far as Maverick and flatbedding, if you're interested in flatbedding, this can help you anywhere. His name is Neil Shane Otts, OTTS. Neil Shane Otts. I'll tell you what, if I do get on with Maverick, when I go to securement training, I am going to have such a leg up on everybody just because of watching his videos. He's got a helmet camera. He sets the camera down on a tripod or whatnot, and you get to watch him do it. He actually worked in the as a trainer in the securement part there for a while. Now he's back trucking, and I'm going to tell you something. He does some of the most beautiful tarp jobs I've ever seen in my life. And also, anyway, that's about trucking. Check those guys out. Make sure you hit the like button. Subscribe to them if you're interested, and do that for me. Hit the like button if you like it. Hit the down button if you don't like it. But if you don't like it, please just give me a short comment as to why you didn't like it, so that I can use the feedback to make my videos better. Like I say, I'm new at this. I've learned pretty much everything that I'm doing from a 10-year-old and a 13-year-old. So that tells you how society is nowadays. Anyway, this is about 20. Instead of making 2 videos, I'm going to go just a few minutes longer and talk about some barbecue. Quick history, I am a competition barbecue cook. I do not get to cook near as many competitions as I'd like because I can't afford it. I should be able to do a few more once I get out there. I just set my home time. I'm going to run. I'm not going to come home much because I don't need to. I'm going to get out there and make some money and show the company that I'm someone who will run for them. But anyway, I will still continue to do my barbecue cook-offs. And I picked the charities, the barbecue cook-offs that have a charity that I like, Wounded Warriors, or do the Cops for Kids in Fort Worth, big cook-off. Last one we did was Sandy's Q for Kids down here in Nolanville, Texas. Big turnout there. Got 8th place chicken. Was happy. Turned in some of the best brisket and best ribs I've ever cooked in my life. And they were no-shows. But that's just the nature of the beast. You got to consider a lot of these cook-offs, you're competing against people who cook every weekend somewhere, and they have money. They have RVs, and they have these $10,000, $15,000 rigs, pits that they bring. And we're cooking on a pit we found on the side of the road. I'm not kidding you. And I've got a Pit Boss pellet smoker, which I love. So that's the 2 pits we cook on. And it's just fun kind of beating those guys when you do. It doesn't happen very often because if you got someone cooking Wagyu brisket, which is probably about $250 for a brisket, you're pretty much beating the brisket category before you even set up. But that's okay. The questions I've been having, man, my brisket's good, but it's tough. And that's because you're not cooking it long enough. According to the FDA, Food and Drug Administration, beef is done at 145 to 150 internal meat temperature. Well, on your brisket, you want to take it up to about 200, 205, and then it'll be nice and tender for you. The key to it is just keeping it juicy. Well, inject it before. And what I do with all my barbecue is I wrap it once it gets to about 150 degrees internal temperature. It's going to have a pretty smoke ring. It's not going to take smoke after that anyway. So I wrap it with foil. Some use butcher paper, but I find foil seals better. And when I do, I always put a little bit of my rub on there and then put bacon across it. That always keeps it juicy. And here's the deal with chicken. If you cook a whole chicken, you know dang well that the white meat gets done before the dark meat. And I've actually had it happen backwards before and still don't know. Maybe it was atmospheric pressure that caused that. I don't know what happened. But for the most part, the white does. And people have problems with the breast meat getting dry. Until while they're waiting for the dark meat legs and stuff, thighs to get done. So here's your tip: when you put your chicken in the smoker, put it in a little pan with a lip about like that, and it'll still get all the smoke it needs to, and that way it'll save its natural juices. Then come back when you're done and re-inject it with its own juices. I got a tip from a guy named Hayabusa, Richard Lane, at a cook-off. Really nice guy, excellent guy. He's got a Facebook page. Go check it out. Hayabusa or Hayabusa, however you pronounce that, at Super Fast Motorcycle by, I think, Suzuki. Anyway, Richard Lane. He told me, here's your tip. Re-inject it with its own juice. And I did that, and I got first place with chicken. He got third. I'm sorry, Richard, but, that's the way it is. Next cook-off, he got second and I got third, so it kind of evened out, But anyway, that's how you do chicken. Ribs, if you take them to 190 or so, you're going to have that. What they like on some judges like is that bite. When you bite it and you got the bite mark, But if you won't fall off the bone ribs, take it to 200, 205 internal temperature. When you wrap it at 150, make sure you layer bacon across the top of it and it'll stay juicy every time. Okay, there's a little tip about barbecue and trucking. And being we've gone over 23 minutes here, I think I'm going to end this video. Hopefully, I adjusted the volume this time. So hopefully, it'll work, and hopefully I can figure out how to get it edited. If I can't, my great nephews are here, and one of them will be able to teach me again how to do it. So until next time, this is a barbecue trucker saying, hey, keep that rubber side down. Be safe out there. Always, don't forget, and this is so important, man, thank your vet. When you see a vet or you see a military person, thank them. Because without them, we wouldn't be able to do this. We wouldn't be able to enjoy the freedoms we have. And your police officers, man, they keep this world, I know it's insane now, but they keep it saner than what it'd be if they're not there. These people, it's a hard job now, way rougher than it used to be. I mean, a lot of police officers are targets now, and that's just so stupid. Make sure you thank those guys. The firefighters, they come to save your life. if it can be saved when something bad happens, heart attack, a wreck, or whatever. And that also, I'm going to get on one other thing. Wherever you're at, and it's law in some states, but a lot of people just abuse it. Wherever you're at, if you see an emergency vehicle on the side of the road, see any vehicle on the side of the road, if you can safely get over into that left lane and give that lane, do it. If you can't, slow down until you can. And especially if it's an emergency vehicle, and that includes tow trucks. There's a lot of tow truck drivers that get killed by these cars driving in that lane and hit them and all. And they're out there performing. They're the guys that are come rescue you if you're in trouble. And all. So please pull over. It just drives me crazy when I see people that don't do that. No texting and driving. That just also burns me up. I'm not even going to go any further on that. But anyway, like I say, thank all your military, your police officers. They're doing a job that you're not doing. It's nearly impossible. And also, keep the rubber side down and keep happy. Show a positive attitude, and the people around you will have a positive attitude. If not, then don't hang around those people. Okay, enough preaching. This is a barbecue trucker. Hit like if you like it. Hit don't like if you don't like it. Subscribe. There will be more videos coming out, especially once I get going trucking. 1st of January, I'm going to do kind of like what Brian and Brian Hall and Neil Shane Otts do, and pretty much making a video every day or every other day, just documenting where all I'm going and all the neat stuff I'm seeing, and so that way y'all can kind of come on my journey too. So until next time, everybody smile and be happy. This is a barbecue trucker saying,